of you guys know that I get all my NFT news from basically one YouTuber, Montoya. So EVE Online hinting at NFT. So we have two videos that are going to be, back to back related to this. EVE Online hinting at NFTs from Montoya, and then Obsidian Ant also does talk about them. So let's see what they have to say.
The heavyweight just threw their hat in the ring. Stand aside, Star Atlas. The heavyweight just threw their hat in the ring and has indicated that they will potentially be bringing something metaverse NFT related to gaming coming to us from the juggernaut that is CCP, makers of EVE Online. And this article just posted yesterday by CCP Helmer saying we are not going to bring blockchain to our servers, saying basically the opposite of what I'm saying. But if you read between the lines, it's very clear what they are thinking. Now,
okay, so they said that they're not going to do it, but then we're reading between the lines here. All right,
those who are new to the channel, let me explain where I'm coming from. First of all, before we kick it off, a big thank you to my Patreon backers, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your ongoing support. It is greatly appreciated. Let's kick off what's happening here. Posted by CCP Helmo just yesterday, and he says that we are looking at blockchain, but we're not bringing it to our servers. Let me explain my stance here, because it is
we're looking at blockchain, but we're not bringing it to our servers. What does that mean?
Complicated. Now, first of all, I think it is short-sighted to put on blinders and ignore what's happening out there in the NFT world. If you are a game developer and you see garbage like Pixelmon raise $70 million, you think to yourself, hang on a second, there's money chasing this. Is this something we can do? Now, NFTs and anything blockchain related is
I like when Mike called Montoya handsome. Look at him. He is handsome. What do you mean? He's a handsome man.
Immensely by actual gamers. We don't want blockchain. We don't want NFTs. We don't want anything financial incentives in the game itself. And the big criticism I have to everything out there, to 95% of the things out there, and the reason why you see me give so much hate to
they don't want financial incentives in the game itself. Didn't they just sell spaceships? Didn't they just sell a mining spaceship?
NFT and the metaverse.
And a hunter pack is like right above here for a sale? I'm confused.
Which, you know how much I love that. The reason why I give it so much hate is because almost every single NFT and blockchain related game is building up using profit as the main incentive and gaming as an afterthought. They're thinking, first we're going to make money and then we'll build a game around it with the profit incentive as the reason why you will play our game, and that's not going to work. It's just not going to work. We're going to see so many of these NFT gaming projects just implode or rug pull or disappear over the next year because it just doesn't work. A game.
So, selling pictures to fund the game before you ever have the game is not going to work. Very interesting. Very interesting. But Star Citizen is different, right? Like, the thing that I would ask Montoya, because again, I'm not very well versed in NFTs or blockchain or whatever. How would you integrate NFTs into a video game in a way that makes sense, that isn't about profit? Because isn't that really the allure of NFTs, is I buy this picture, I flip it and make more money? Isn't there like no other, or there are very few exciting aspects to it other than maybe like an artist selling their original works? These are my original works. I don't understand how something that grew out of its allure and its popularity grew because of its ability to make profit. How do you put these in a video game and have it make sense and have it improve the game. I don't understand it. So
With longevity needs to be fun and engaging, and no one else does space MMOs with longevity better than CCP. I believe they're going on 20 years here. So let's read what they have to say about it. I think it's a fascinating experiment, and I can, without even looking at what the player base is saying, I can tell you it's universally hated. Anything blockchain related or NFT related in EVE Online will cause a massive revolt. EVE players are revolting.
yeah,
they will
Dave
revolt.
revolted about the ship sale.
A
right?
revolt we haven't seen the likes of, we've never seen before. So let's read what CCP Helmo has been saying here. There has been a lot of speculation around blockchain technology, NFTs, and cryptocurrency, and what that means for the future of EVE Online, so I wanted to address it. At CCP, our mission is to have the EVE universe outlive us all, EVE forever. One huge part of this is exploring new technologies and new possibilities, something EVE players know that I'm always fascinated by. This philosophy is rooted in EVE Online's inception. When we created EVE, it was seen as too radical and ambitious, yet here we are about to celebrate EVE's 19th anniversary, and that is impressive. I mean, this game does have longevity, and if you've not tried it, EVE is free to play. Go in there, give it a shot, but warning, it will take you years to really understand the depth and complexity that is EVE. Many of us at CCP have been following the new frontier that has been developing around blockchains and cryptocurrencies for the past few years. We've read your feedback, which I'm sure has been glowing. We've read your feedback, and we've also seen what you see. Blockchain tech has both a lot of untapped potential and a lot of work needed before being ready for EVE scale games. Translations. Your feedback is, this is all garbage and we should never ever touch it or you will leave this game forever. We hear you on that, is what they're saying there. On that note, we have no plans to add blockchain technology into EVE Online's global server Tranquility for the foreseeable future. Let me translate that sentence for you there. They have no plans to add blockchain technology onto the global server Tranquility. Nothing about the test server or any new server they may make for the foreseeable future. That's them basically leaving the door open saying, yeah, we are probably going to try something with this.
Well, people keep talking about like the power of this, right? So what somebody in chat says kind of makes sense to me, but at the same time, like, games have done this forever. So I can go all the way back to my, like, Ultima Online experiences. Zap says, SaltEMike, you can use blockchain to record past events or famous owners of an item, and if it drops or gets discarded, let it be picked up again by other users. SaltEMike's rusty rifle of rabbit slaying, for example, doesn't have to be profit-related. Okay, or you can literally just, every time it changes hands, put the name on there. Like, does that really need this like incredible NFT blockchain tech to do that? Like, in Ultima Online, when I crafted something and I was a GM blacksmith, if I crafted metal armor, it had my name tied to it. I think the only issue with that is that most, like, a bunch of people had different names. So, for example, there were a number of Versace's or Gucci's or whatever in the game that were tailors, for example, let's say. But yeah, do we need this like incredible blockchain tech to do that? I don't think so. So yeah, I don't understand the idea behind this. But they keep talking about how this technology could have potential. So I don't see any reason why a company like EVE, like Star Citizen, I mean, hell, Star Citizen would have benefited from this incredibly. They essentially sold NFTs anyway, right? And they could have made, if they had a marketplace where we can buy and sell our ships from each other, which I don't think any, like, of the way the culture of the Star Citizen Reddit and like Fleet View is a thing, and like everybody showing off what they have. The idea of the players being able to trade amongst themselves ships in their fleet Star Citizen could have made a killing off of because you get like a fee off of every trade, right? That would have been insane and really probably beneficial from them from a funding standpoint. Is I buy the Idris for 1,500 and then I trade it to Montoya for 1,550 or 1,600, and then they get a little piece of that. But the idea behind any company looking at it and how they can utilize it in their game in a positive way and not necessarily doing it just for profit, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. They may or may not find a good solution, but looking for one, I have no issue with.
I will predict that they were actually pretty far into doing something. And if I was CCP, I would not want to piss off my player base. So what they are very likely doing is creating a separate IP, create a new game on a new server, EVE related, and sell those ships as NFTs, sell skills as NFTs. There's so much they can do with it, but just not inside of current EVE Online. That is 100% where they are going with this, and I predict that sometime this year we will see some sort of announcement of them introducing a new game which is totally NFT blockchain related. And if they do this, let's be clear about this, because they're not wrong. Out of all the current blockchain related games, if CCP went that route, they would overnight be the preeminent metaverse game that everyone's freaking out about and wants to be a part of, because they are the ones that could flip a switch and overnight be that metaverse game which is going to dominate everything else out there. They have the gameplay down. They know how to do it. And if they inject blockchain NFTs into it, that blockchain gaming crowd will be all over them.
We already had the metaverse game. Like, we already did this. It was Second Life. Like, I'm so confused. And most video games and MMOs that I've played feel like the metaverse. It feels like another world that I'm living in and playing in. I like this idea of like all these old people that don't get this. Like, and I'm not talking about Montoya. I'm talking about like, well, even somebody as silly as whoever the dude is that owns Facebook. I forget. Like, we've already had these experiences, so like I don't get where they're trying to go.
So I think they can do it.
They just want to make money off of it.
But as long as it's separate from what EVE Online is right now, as long as separate from Tranquility,
Zuckerberg,
as long as completely separate IP from EVE Online, they could potentially become a pretty serious metaverse gaming company.
Meat smoker.
I'm very curious to see where this goes. Let's just finish this article here. On that note, we have no plans to add blockchain technology onto EVE Online's Tranquility server. For the coming years, development for Tranquility will focus on building exciting new opportunities on top of the robust foundation that has been laid over the past 2 decades. While we remain intrigued by the technology, for us, NFT stands for Not for Tranquility. Ha! Nice one. But that just means, they're open to it somewhere else. Overall, the EVE IP will continue to push the boundaries of digital economies and virtual worlds, and we will continue to explore that outside of Tranquility. I think this is very clear. I think this is very clear where it's going to go. And keep in mind that EVE Online has the deepest and broadest economy in any game world I know. They have a full-time economist working at CCP just to keep things balanced there. So if there was a company to pull it off, CCP could possibly be the one to do that. So I
agree with that. I think if there's a company that could pull it off, maybe it's this one. But at the same time, if it's a company that can pull it off in a positive way, it could be this one. I don't think it's like a positive way for all. The idea about profit behind it is the problem, right? And that's what nobody likes, is like, big company already makes a ton of profit. Like, why do you need to screw me for more?
Curious to know if you are a current EVE Online player. Is the community, I'm assuming the same as any other gaming community, strongly against NFTs and blockchain-related items in their game? But if CCP built IP outside of that, completely separate, how would you, as an EVE player, feel about that? Let me know. Post below. And if you enjoy my content, let's wrap it up, guys. Give me a thumbs up. Subscribe. I'm curious to know where this goes, and I'll be following this story very, very closely. I will see you in the next one.
Thanks, Montoya. I don't think there will be an issue where you have to follow it that closely. It does sound like they looked at it and they're like, probably not for us right now, but maybe something will change in the future. And they clearly don't want to keep that door closed. It's hard to say if they're looking at it for profit reasons or they're looking at it for benefiting their game in some way reasons. And it looks like they're probably a little bit of both and decided not to do it because they knew it would be a bad thing. So, yeah. Thank you again, though, Montoya, as always. All right, and then this is going to be Obsidian Ant's take on NFTs. We just recently watched the Montoya video, and this is going to be the same thing, essentially, would be my guess. But let's see if there's a different take coming from Obsidian Ant on this.
EVE Online is turning its back on NFTs and blockchain, at least for the foreseeable future. The message comes from CCP boss Hilmar Peterson, who just a few months ago was saying that both NFTs and cryptocurrency should be a part of gaming's future. So, what changed? Well, it seemed CCP felt it necessary to address player speculation on the potential introduction of NFTs into EVE. But what was the source of this player speculation? Well, none other than Hilmar himself. In an interview with the Korea Economic Daily, Hilmar stated, "We have conducted research related to NFT and blockchain as they are based on a decentralized system, which is similar to CCP Games' operation. However, it is a little too early for us to entirely introduce NFTs or pay to earn." But if that's not enough for you...
Okay, so that's a different statement than I've seen. Well, I'm not sure what they're going for here, but where is CCP located? Is there like economic destabilization or something like that where they live? They're in Iceland? No, I mean I'm pretty sure Iceland's like relatively stable, right? Yeah, I don't know. That's interesting. Like trying to be out of whatever global monetization system they're involved in right now? Maybe?
Let's not forget that EVE Online has experimented with NFTs as rewards for recent in-game events. Over the past few months then, player speculation about NFTs and blockchain within EVE Online has continued to grow.
So they've
this,
already
of
done
course,
it.
is both a source of anxiety for some players as well as a source of anticipation for other players. Of course, NFTs are very divisive. Yet over time, games players have made it extremely clear they have very little patience for them. In fact, for the most part, players have made it abundantly apparent they really don't want NFTs in their games, full stop. However...
See, I don't think that's true. I don't think players don't want like unique items they're the only thing, I'm the only person who owns this item, right? And I think what gamers are tired of is games being made exclusively to make a profit rather than a good product, and that is what people are tired of. I mean, you know, we can tie this to Star Citizen very easily. Everybody is tired of watching the number of funds in Star Citizen's, you know, record breaking continue to go up, but not see monumental record breaking gameplay in the game. Right? And it just goes from that for everybody. Everybody's tired of being abused by these game developers rather than escaping reality or whatever, right? It is like we all go to games for different reasons, but I don't think any of us go to games to, you know, spend our weekly income on or monthly income on. None of us ever wanted that out of games. We wanted great experiences and a place to escape to, a place to meet people, a place to make friends, amazing stories to experience. Like, video games are the ability to watch a movie but be a part of it yourself and feel like the main character, right? It's got this amazing, like, tactile ability to experience amazing things and be a part of that thing and actually feel like you're a part of that thing rather than just watching it on a screen, right? And then we've been abused for the last 10 years easily by every single gaming company in some way, shape, or form, because it's all about profit. A lot of them are publicly traded now, which is like the worst thing ever for that, because now they're exclusively, they have to abide by doing the best they could for their shareholders, and gamers aren't their shareholders, but they should be. And like that's like the crazy weird experience with Star Citizen as well, is the people who play their game are sort of their shareholders, but not really, right? Their shareholders are the people on the board. They're the people that have recently bought shares in the company, right? Like the Calders, things like that. A lot has changed with Star Citizen, and it doesn't feel good anymore, right? It doesn't feel like the weekly updates are even are really even showing us what it's supposed to be. And I think that's where it is right now. Is it's in this really weird place, and gamers are tired of it. It's not that gamers don't want NFTs. It's gamers don't want another way for you to take money out of my pocket and make lazy, crappy games.
None of this has deterred companies like Square Enix and Ubisoft from steaming ahead with their own NFT projects. For NFT supporters, the argument is that some games very much do support the idea of blockchain, as well as the idea of play to earn. EVE Online would be no stranger to this. There's an argument to be made that the game would actually be the perfect example, the perfect platform to implement both NFTs and blockchain, as well as play to earn. The counter to that argument is that the technology is as yet untested, and it's all at the mercy and at the hands of greedy corporations. If they want to abuse blockchain, if they want to abuse NFTs, then they're in a very good position to do so. Bad monetization practices, after all, are not a new thing. And, well, I think there's plenty of warning signs with the new tech right here. CCP then find themselves at a potential crossroads, and they wanted to make it very clear to players that they don't intend to go down the route of NFTs, at least not for the foreseeable future. And they did very specifically say foreseeable future. That point then should be underscored, because obviously it leaves the gate open for CCP in the future to return to this idea. And personally, I think a CCP...
And again, and maybe it's because something changes and makes it make sense for their game or whatever, right?
Entirely within their rights, and, quite reasonable to do this. After all, there's no telling where the technology may go. Perhaps if companies decide to not fully exploit it and exploit players, but instead make a good use of it, there may be some as yet unseen benefits to implementing the tech within games. In fact, CCP Hilmar touched on this. Many of us at CCP have been following the new frontier that has been developing around blockchains and cryptocurrencies for the past years. We've read your feedback, and we also see what you see. Blockchain tech has both a lot of untapped potential and a lot of work needed before being ready for EVE-scale games. On that note, we have no plans to add blockchain technology into EVE Online's global server Tranquility for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing that everybody says about NFTs that IDD is saying in our chat right now. SaltEMike, it's just a money scheme that won't enhance your game experience. The game's relevant features... of NFTs, mainly the unique identifier, already exists, i.e. the Unreal Engine, it's called GUID, Global Unique Identifier. Guys, Star Citizen, every one of our ships has an ID on it. You only own the first 890 jump. You own the second 890 jump. You own the third one, right? Like, everybody has a number. I don't understand why this extra system needs to exist when it already exists in video games. It makes no sense to me, right? Well, I don't know who owns it, but yeah. Yes, Mike, but the ID is stored in CIG servers which they control. The blockchain removes their control. But who cares whether or not they have control over the numbering system of a spaceship, right? Like, it's not that important. So what is the advantage of it not being under CIG's control? What is so great about that? Like, yeah, why would we want their control removed? Because again, it's just a unique identifier that matters in the case that I believe is like making the case for video games and NFTs, right? Is that unique identifier. If they control it, then they can take it away. It's about asset ownership. Okay, but like in a video game, the ownership of an item only matters within that game world. So whether they take it away or why does it matter? Right? Like that's the part that it's in the game world. Like none of these things exist in the real world. It's a video game. So like this whole idea behind these things, again, without it being for profit, it just doesn't make sense in my mind. But again, I have a pea brain when it comes to this. I don't understand any of this crap at all.
The coming years, development for Tranquility will focus on building exciting new opportunities on top of the robust foundation that has been laid over the past 2 decades. So, it's very likely that EVE Online players just sighed a collective breath of relief. Whilst NFTs may well come to the game in the future, it's not happening anytime soon. Now, could CCP's decision on this have implications for the wider gaming industry? Well, that's kind of a two-sided question. On the one hand, EVE Online is perfectly positioned to adopt the technology, and had CCP done so, you can bet that other companies would be watching it very, very closely. But conversely, now CCP have decided to ignore it, at least for now. The company is small enough for bigger companies to completely ignore. So, whilst CCP themselves are willing to walk away from the technology, it's unlikely them doing so is going to influence the decisions of bigger players such as Ubisoft and Square Enix. But that of course doesn't mean these bigger players are going to be successful with their plans. After all, Ubisoft has had somewhat of a dumpster fire with their experimentations in Ghost Recon Breakpoint. The NFTs here were sold for a few months, at which point Ubisoft eventually decided to abandon them. Basically, it was ill thought out, ill planned, and just didn't work for them. But they've made it very clear that they're not abandoning NFTs altogether and will be integrating them into other games in the future. Personally then, I feel that CCP have made the smart decision, whilst Ubisoft are certainly playing with fire. But that might just be me. Do let me know what you feel in the comments section below. I'd love to hear from you. Do you think there's a place for NFTs and blockchain technology in the future of gaming, or do you think that all games, no matter what, should stay away from them completely? As always, thanks for watching.
I don't know. I feel like there's some sort of a place for it, but not now. I feel like people have to take what's here now and expand on it. That's like insane in some way and take it to another level, but I don't think we're at that level. But maybe, but at the same time, like I can't foresee it. And like the whole thing for me is there's like the only reason that people are talking about them is because it's a way to make money. That's the only reason. And it's just like, that's why they're popular. Is because I can take this thing that doesn't even exist and sell it for more money than I bought it for somehow. This is insane. And I just don't see a place for that in video games. But there's been so many. Okay, like here. Okay, how about this, guys? How about this? Every MMO has gold sellers. Every MMO has item sellers, right? Like that is a huge problem for the game. Like these people that grind video games and sell them for real money. Is this a way for a game company to prevent that from happening? That is the only way I can see a positive. Is if there's a way to manage and control the in-game items and in-game economies. I don't think so, though, right? If anything, it would make it worse, and then the company would be in bed with the gold sellers in a way, because every transaction, the company would make money off of it, right? So they would want you to make a ton of transactions, and it would just ruin the game's economy, right? So, like, that, yeah, I just don't see it. But...
Chin. And I'll catch you guys and girls next time.
Damn. Damn, look at those people, dude. Good for you, Obsidian. Obsidian's the man. That's awesome. But yeah, like, I just don't understand. So we'll have to see. Eve people have been selling chips and in-game money for years, and the game lives on. I don't see a problem with this. I mean, it's not. I don't know. It's not a great thing. So it's not a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a thing that I just think people don't understand yet. But I don't think it has a place in games. So yeah, I don't know.